Welcome back to the Dr. Mary Travel Best Guide podcast. I can't wait to tell you about experiences I had and learn from you as well. The FAQ is, how can I pack for several seasons in the same small pack? And the confidence challenge happened in Bergen. The destination is also Bergen, Norway. And then we'll also go over some missteps. So Julie asked this FAQ, how can I pack for several seasons in the same small pack? And my answer is, it's going to be a challenge if you're moving to different weather zones on your trip. When I was in South Africa in June, it was winter, and that was a challenge. There was no heat in the homes where I stayed, so I had to have hot water bottles in bed at night and wore all of my clothes. A week later, I was in Greece and gave away all the warm clothes to a friend. You can experiment with what you need right away and then buy additional items later on, as I did, or ship a package with your warmer clothes to your destination. If you need more professional clothes, you could check your bag at the airplane or at the airport, but I rarely do because of the cost and time it takes to do that. Here's the 60-second confidence challenge. The biggest challenge you may find in Bergen is navigating steep hills and unpredictable weather. Rain is part of daily life there, so it's easy to lose motivation when the skies open up. How do you build confidence? You embrace flexibility. Bring a lightweight rain poncho, waterproof shoes, and plan indoor stops between attractions. The locals in Bergen say, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. You'll find your rhythm, rain or shine. If you like today's confidence challenge, my book series delves deeper into packing and traveling very light while moving through the 5 steps to solo travel, from easy to more challenging with foreign language communication tips. And you can find this series at the link in the description notes. It's 5stepstosolotravel.com or look on Amazon. And now let's talk about Bergen, Norway. It's Sunday morning in Bergen, and I've just come from church. There were 16 servers on the altar, so it was a high mass with lots of singing. The priest ended the high mass by saying, for those tourists who are here, and for those locals who know the beauty of Bergen, imagine how beautiful it will be in heaven if it's this beautiful in Bergen. Here's more about my experience on my first day in Bergen. I ate a healthy, fresh fruit and pudding lunch under a shady tree on a bench in the city park. More on that in a minute. And I shared my meal with some of the birds here. It is a beautiful fountain with a lake around it and children's amusement park nearby. So it's a really family-friendly environment. It's called Lial Lunjarvat, and I can't pronounce too well, so please excuse that. But it's a small lake in the city of Bergen's city center, surrounded by paved walking paths and several art museums. Now, as a tourist, what could you do? I've got some ideas. If the weather's pleasant, and in Bergen, that's a big if, explore the accessible harbor paths or take a fjord sightseeing cruise. Many of the larger boats now have wheelchair access and restrooms. The Moostraman cruise of the fjords is 3 hours. A great time for me to do this was 4 to 7 p.m. on Sunday. I just went on the cruise right from the tourist harbor. The crew that I spoke with, Enders, he even gave me a cinnamon roll. They're called Skillingsbuler. It's a famous cinnamon roll. I'll mention them again in a minute. So I didn't have a reservation, but I just was able to hop on the next ship, which left in like 5 minutes. And on this cruise, I saw plenty of fjords. It was windy, but it was warm. It was a great day on the ship. There were even 2 dogs on board, and it made it kind of special for passengers to see those dogs. Another day in Bergen, I took public transportation. It was starting to rain, and I didn't have any plans for the afternoon. So I just jumped on a bus. It was bus 40. Little did I know, it went under 2 tunnels. Then I found myself in a neighborhood in the city's eastern part. I took another bus back, and then I got off, and then I walked around the neighborhood looking for another bus. I found number 86. And that was not the right bus for me. The driver was nice, but it was wrong. So then I got on bus 5. I took it just one stop, and then I got back to the park with that fountain that I was telling you about. Then I walked 24 minutes to the swimming pool. I took my time. The pool was great. Then I walked back in the drizzle, which became rain. Then one of the places I stopped off was the Bang & Olufsen store, and I dreamed about maybe someday owning some of their products. The surround sound, wireless, awesome sound. So Bergen, Norway, it's the gateway to the fjords. It's a charming coastal city with maritime history and stunning scenery. I'm just telling you a few of the things that I did. There's so much more. It's manageable, and I really enjoyed it. So you start your day on the wharf. It's the city's most famous landmark, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The wooden buildings along the harbor date back to the early days of the Hanseatic trading era, when some alleyways are narrow and cobblestone. The main harbor promenade, it's smooth and level, and you can stop in the museums. They're fully accessible with rich context of the city's medieval roots. From there, you can stroll along the waterfront to the fish market, the Fiski Torget. It's flat, lively, and ideal for sampling local seafood, salmon, shrimp, or even a fish soup. There's outdoor seating overlooking the boats in the harbor. And I mentioned the swim. I took a beautiful swim in the Nornes seawater pool. It was so worth it. And I took the long way there. I mentioned all the different buses that I rode on. Now, if you're a foodie, the food is really great here. I mentioned the Skillingsbruler, famous cinnamon roll, and I just unwrapped it one bite at a time. Now, on my next visit to Bergen, I'm going to go see the Berghausen Fortress, one of the oldest and best preserved fortresses in Norway. Parts of it are accessible with ramps and paved walkways. It's peaceful with views of the fjord and passing ferries. And then you might want to take a short ride on the Florbanen. It's the funicular to Mount Fløyen. The funicular is wheelchair accessible, and there's a cafe at the summit, also fully accessible. By the lake I mentioned, Lial, earlier, there's the Code Art Museum complex. It includes 4 interconnected buildings, entirely wheelchair accessible, with Norwegian and international artists, including Edvard Munch. Another place to go, the University Museum of Bergen, barrier-free and rich with exhibits on natural history, culture, and archaeology, and great staff. And for lunch, why not try out one of the cafes? Just walk around the squares, find a pedestrian zone, and go take a walk. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful city with nature and culture, colorful houses, misty mountains, friendly faces. It's a city that welcomes you to slow down, breathe the sea air, enjoy the simple pleasures. And how about my missteps? So let me tell you about my missed train to Bergen. Well, I thought I missed the train, but then I didn't. I got on a train, but it had a 7-hour delay in Voss. I'll talk more about Voss in a future episode. Now, Bergen was a lovely city, even if you were delayed. But there's really no alternative if you want to travel here and see the landscape. During the summer, there's going to be delays, so know in advance that you'll get them. So one other travel thing to avoid in Bergen is don't underestimate how early the attractions close. Many museums and shops close down by 4 or 5 p.m., so don't arrive too late and don't miss out. So check the hours and make mornings your best time for sightseeing. And skip renting a car. The streets are narrow, the parking is limited, and everything you'll want to see is reachable by foot, by tram, or by accessible taxi. So thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next journey, and connect with me on all the channels you see in the show notes.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travel Best, that is.